When we get a new job, when we find ourselves in a new situation, going in a new direction. So for me, Buddhism and meditation are not a new direction, really, because I've been involved with that for a while. I've had a lot of experience with Buddhism and meditation. But for a lot of people, it might be kind of like your first day on the job, at a new job, dealing with something that you don't know about and that you don't have much experience with. And in some ways, we all have that beginner mindset where we have to start fresh. We have to start from zero. We have to start from nothing. We have to start from this moment. So the Buddhist teachings, and really meditation without Buddhism or meditation without wise guidance, is a fool's errand. You're never going to get anywhere in meditation if you don't have support and guidance from people who have gone down that path. It's like trying to make your way up a mountain while not having access to connect with anyone who's been along that mountain. It's like trying to learn Kung Fu without anybody to practice your Kung Fu with. It can become performative and less effective. So the Buddhist, or the guidance of the Buddha in how we approach the spiritual path and meditation and enlightenment is firstly to be generous. So if you want to be serious about meditation, if you want to develop wisdom, like be a wise, insightful person, the question that I would ask you, and also if you're really interested in learning about mindfulness or meditation, the question that I would ask you is, what is your active relationship with generosity in your life? So what kind of actions of generosity do you do? Do you volunteer? Do you make donations to charities? Do you sacrifice your time, your energy for the benefit of others? What do you give without getting something in particular back? So you give something. Generosity is this action where you give something in particular. What is in particular? You give away something that you're attached to, something that's valuable to you, something that you would rather not give away. You give that away without exchanging it for something. So what is your active relationship with generosity in your life? And that question is also, what is the active relationship that you have with doing good deeds in your life? Okay, so that's the first question to write down. As we have a relationship with generosity, it means that we're no longer compulsively acting and reacting, because we have an ability that we exercise to experience being attached to something, maybe attached to a thought, attached to a view, attached to a possession, attached to something like money, or something like an incense holder, something that's precious to you. And we exercise that capacity to give that away. So it means we can be aware of what we are attached to without being controlled by what we're attached to. So once you can practice generosity, once you ask yourself that question, now you can ask yourself the question of, what priority do I give in my daily life in terms of my body, speech, and mind to being a good person? Full stop. Not being a religious person, not being a spiritual person, not being a meditative person, not being an intelligent person, not being a skillful person, but being a good person, being virtuous. And so you can start with the 5 basic trainings of don't kill, don't steal, don't lie or be mean to others with your speech, don't commit sexual misconduct, which means be very careful with your sexual energy, and don't take drugs or intoxicants. So that means don't go around drinking alcohol all the time. Cut out your wine habit. Now, if you can work with all that and say, A-OK, now we can move into mindfulness. So we exercise a capacity to give up what we hold on to, what we're attached to, and then we exercise a capacity to not do what we could do. Okay? So we have the ability to give up what we're attached to, and we have the ability to not do what we could do. Welcome to mindfulness. And mindfulness is our natural ability to be aware of what's happening with a stillness or with an openness or without compulsion. So you can't just say, I'm being aware of whatever I happen to be doing. Well, everybody's kind of aware of whatever they're doing, but the mindfulness is an awareness that's not compulsive in nature. So it's kind of like awareness and stepping back, or mindfulness with detachment. Now, how you start to work with this mindfulness with detachment in your life is up to you. You can go to a meditation retreat. You can listen to Dharma talks. You could go and become a monk or a nun. But really, mindfulness and detachment isn't about anything. The action of mindfulness with detachment supersedes the idea that you have about yourself and the ideas that you have about the world. It doesn't sound too bad to me. If I had to chop down a tree, why not chop it down with a single blade of grass, right? So now if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask them. And if anything comes up for me, I'll try to share that. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. I can't really describe it. Yesterday I forgot that this was supposedly Vietnam. It, if I had to call it an it, I don't have to call it an it. Better not to call it anything. Maybe I've fallen off the deep end. Or maybe I is not. And if it's not, then maybe it's just a knot to be untangled with mindfulness and detachment. Do we have the capacity as human beings, whether online or in person or whatever, to communicate from the heart? To be authentic, to be sincere? Are we allowed to be sincere? Are we allowed to be authentic? Can you practice to see your own mind, to watch your own mind? Can the outside environment be like a mirror, reflecting, refracting the light of your awareness back onto your own mind? Peace and love. Hello, peace and love. Check our audio quality here. Check our audio quality here. I think that's okay. I speak in riddles. Well, language itself is a kind of riddle. A kind of obfuscation. Right? I mean, you weren't born with thinking. You weren't born with a name. You weren't born with an identity or a story or an ego. You could say words are spells, but it's better to say that words are like poop. And you can flush that poop down the toilet, which is kind of what we do most of the time mentally. Because think about how much you're consuming. All those YouTube videos and TikTok videos and movies and TV shows, etc. You know, watching, consuming so much nonsense, and all of it just gets flushed down the toilet. It just gets emptied, it just gets released, or seems to be. But this poop, the poop of riddles and spiritual nonsense, it is what we make of it, is to be used for compost. The compost of mindfulness and detachment, the compost of wakefulness. Can we see? Can we experience? Can we sense not someone, not being someone? Is that accessible? That, hey, you know, this is not actually someone. Not me saying that to you, but just the sound of that. And diarrhea, there's nothing better for the compost than diarrhea. We've got a problem with poop, and poop is probably one of the best things that's in the world. My power is immense. I hope so. You know, we all want the best for ourselves, right? We all want to be the strongest, the most beautiful, the coolest, magical powers, wealth, women, technology, authority. I can see you just fine. So, if we don't know how to step back from our identities, Are we being mean? Are we being rough and tough? What are our intentions? What is your intention at this moment? You're not forced to be here. This isn't the prison industrial school complex. You're here, it's your choice to be here. So how can you, if you want to be here, make the very best use of this space? Not just to be naughty or to be a bad one, but to listen to silence. Kai Rasa. Yeah, no, everybody's welcome. Everybody's welcome. I want you to give it your best shot. I want you to be creative. I want you to be creative in your way of offering, in your way of sharing. To go outside of your usual framework of acting and reacting, your usual framework of judging. And don't forget to put some W's in the chat. I don't know how many times I have to remind everybody, let's get some W's in the chat. Let's wake up. And this is a white space. This is a white space. Okay, Kai Rasa says, if we don't know how our mind works, can we be possessed by our own mind? Well, what if it is just mind? What if everything is just everything? What if there's not actually something called possession? What if possession is illegitimate? That this body and mind can't be possessed because they're not a separate thing that actually exists. To posit that, to question that, to invite that. Okay, we're going to start giving some timeouts for meditation. So let's give a timeout, a 10-minute timeout for Mr. Benjamin, a 10-minute timeout for Mr. Species, and we're calling it a timeout and a 10-minute timeout for Mike as well. But this is just a time for you to go and just reflect upon yourself, focus on your breathing, and really come back to yourself, okay? That's a good chance, a good opportunity. Do I take donations? I don't think they would be donations if I took them. Kiramu says meditation is gay. Well, hey, hey, hey. Gay is okay. And why don't you take just a 5-minute timeout, Kiramu? Because of course meditation being gay is okay. Lao Dao, I'm not a monk. I was a monk for 7 years, but I'm not a monk anymore. Just a person sitting in front of a brick wall with a red neon sign that says white space in front of it. I hate to break it to everybody, but Michael Jordan was very heavily influenced by Zen Buddhism. Michael Jordan is a big Zen Buddhist practitioner, especially his coach. The guy who they won all those rings was all about Zen Buddhism. So, this is something cool to look into. You can ask any question that you have. I will do my best to give you a sincere answer. Don't be stupid, must you? I think that Christianity can be practiced very, very deeply and profoundly, and that if one takes prayer in a meditative way, that can be a path to get you to very deep states of consciousness and wisdom. So it's okay to be gay, it's okay to be a Christian, it's okay to be a Buddhist, it's okay to be nobody. If you say, hey, I don't consider myself to be anyone, is that okay? Is that gay, to not be anybody? Or is it just okay, just like being gay? Who are you? I'm not anyone. That doesn't mean we can't arm wrestle. Can we take the identity of no identity? Sure we can. Why not? Well, let's let people, do their best. That's something to remember. Everybody's trying to do their best, one way or another. The only thing I'd say, hey, wait a minute, watch out, is when you try to, sincerely and wholeheartedly reach out to someone and say that you were hurt or bothered or confused, and if they say you're wrong, well, you can't be wrong for you being hurt, right? So that's something you need to be very careful about, that kind of energy. But otherwise, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's trying to do the best that they can. I mean, I look at myself, and I look at, because, Facebook and YouTube, or like Google Photos, they're always giving you memories from like a year back ago. So I'm getting these memories of a year ago. I was running my teacher's monastery in the south of Italy, and I had on my cool robes. I had on my big mala. I was looking really like a cool monk guy, and I was speaking in a certain way and acting in a certain way. And it's like, okay, am I worse? Am I better now? Who cares? Who knows? I just know that I'm trying to do my best to go down the path, to help others, to share what seems to be real to me, what seems to be valuable to me, what seems to be authentic to me. And that's, I really, I can't explain it. It's unexplainable. It's got nothing to do with anybody, anywhere. It's got nothing to do with likes or dislikes. It has nothing to do with up, down, left, right, center, Vietnam, USA, you name it. It has nothing to do with names. It has nothing to do with words or phrases. There's plenty of words and phrases going on, but this nature, this big dishcloth that I'm wearing for some reason is just what it is, isn't it? So we say it's good, we say it's bad. Well, it just is what it is. And if we're curious about that, let's look into it. Let's look into our own minds. I'm doing very well, thank you. Really enjoying Vietnam and the weather. And yeah, spreading my wings. Spreading my wings, but being open to just being where I already am. How much our view of life might change and the sense of struggle and stress if we were more open to just being okay with the way that things already are. Take our ego out of the equation and just kind of dissolve into everything that's right here and now. Because if we lose access to that wonder, that really only comes from wandering. Once we know where we're going, how can we be in a state of wonder? How can we be in a state of a deep appreciation for what is? When we're always going down this particular directed path. So this wandering opens up the path of wonder, amazement. Because there's a side of myself that really sees and really feels that, like, I'm not in Vietnam. Richard Kelly, so stop locking yourself into a particular path and a particular destination, a particular way of seeing things. I mean, it's really a situation where we're creating the box that we put ourselves into. Do you want to be put into a box? Do you want to live in a box? Do you want your mind to be only effective within a certain box? Or do you want to be boxless? Yeah, you may have your views, you may have a certain kind of identity that you align yourself with, whether it's the left or right side or certain kind of thoughts that you have. But ultimately, do you want to be controlled by those thoughts, or do you want to just be open to listen and explore and not be indoctrinated by politics and indoctrinated by dualistic, conceptual frameworks for how you should see the world? It's unnecessarily limiting. Hey, Jesus, I'm here. I accept Christ. I accept Christ. No problem. Am I collecting money for the U.S. State Department? No. No, I'm not. Moving from a dualistic point of view to a non-dualistic point of view, and in that non-dualistic point of view, there never having been someone who arrived there. So the view has changed. It's not that this you that had this view, went into a you that had that view. The view itself, the way of perceiving itself, has shifted. Would anyone here like to sing some gospel? Because I think the mic setup might be good for that here as well. Anyone like to sing some gospel? Who's ready to hear the gospel? Okay, Kai. Well, couple votes here. We're taking a vote. Should we do a poll? Yes, that's right. Nature of Meditation podcast. Why not? Well, can we do a poll here? I mean, what do we start a poll? Ask, is it time to praise the Most High? And that's kind of secular in nature, non-sectarian. Is it time to praise the Most High? Yes, no. Is it time to praise the Most High? It looks like the yeses have it, everybody. Here we go. Om mani padme hum, 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 om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, 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 om mani padme hum. Om mani padme hum, 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 om mani padme hum. I am not a government asset. I do not work with the Federal Bureau of Investigations. This is an old friend I haven't listened to for a while. Can y'all hear that all right? samungate soha eva tao bekanze bekanze maha bekanze ranza samungate soha tao bekanze bekanze maha bekanze ranza samungate soha Eya tao bekanze bekanze maha bekanze ranza samungate soha Eya tao bekanze bekanze Mahabekanze Ranza Samangate Soha Eya Tao Bekanze Bekanze Mahabekanze Ranza Samangate Wonderful. Please, FMCC, this is an uninterruptible space. That's a part of the teachings here, that nothing can interrupt this. Nothing can always interrupt this, whatever this happens to be. So be open to nothing all the time. I hope so. I hope so. You know, I've also thought about maybe opening up a shop So maybe to make some t-shirts or to make some hats, I'm not going to make them, but some kind of ethically sourced product, with like a motto, like it said, maybe it'll say, don't think. Or the Buddha told me to be quiet. Or, things like that. Buddhist imagery, monk life, maybe just a beanie that says monk life, a hoodie that says don't think, or I'm practicing not thinking, stuff like that, I think would be cool. And, but becoming a bigger content creator, I don't know about that. Let's see, let's all keep our fingers crossed. Send your prayers for my ascension to become a very big YouTuber. Okay. 11th gate, I want you to do a 10-minute, or let's say a 10-minute silent meditation, okay? Nature of welcome to the present moment. Yes, that's right. Hey, that's a great idea. Look, we've got some great ideas from our community also on what we can put on that shirt or that hoodie. Welcome to the present moment with like a prayer thing. Okay, Nature of Meditation podcast. Is this live chat moderated and censored? Yeah, lightly, slightly. Well, I use my discernment. If I say this person crossed the line, I also use it as a training method to give some of the people who are here the opportunity to be hit by my big wooden stick. So I say, okay, you have to not talk for a little bit. FMCC says, what do you think is holding back Western cultures from developing collective spiritual alignment? We need community. Culture is just a name for habit energy. So culture without community is just something to be exploited for advertising. And to build community, we need leaders. And most people just don't have any experience to be a leader. And they don't have much of any experience in community. And then, in the Western spiritual scene, all these people, get a lot of wrong information and with a lot of immaturity, start yelling from the rooftops, come get your Kundalini awakening. Honestly, how many young people on TikTok do you think have been interested in spirituality or self-transformation, not knowing what that was or is, and then got picked up by your local, bell-ringing yoga person? So I think connecting with community is one of the most important things you can do in developing collective spiritual alignment. Also, it takes a lot of time. It's not something you flip a switch and you make it happen like that. Presence, awareness, just awareness. Just awareness. Please, whatever question you have, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm happy to have the chance to answer that question for you. This is the best way to ask a question. If you're concerned with like spirituality or meditation, and you've got to ask someone, this is the best way to do it. When you can see them, when you can hear their voice, when you're connected to them. And not a lot of people get that opportunity. It doesn't take a lot of time for me to flip that switch, and also it's something that's very subtle. See, this is leadership and facilitating community energetically is very, very subtle. It has nothing to do with black and white. It has nothing to do with this is good and this is bad. It's energy. Right? So if you can clear out enough of the gunk and clutter in your mind, then you can, to a more or less degree, sense someone else's energy, even through their name, what they wrote, and the little picture that they have. And sometimes when people are trolling or really putting themselves out there, they're kind of exposing themselves as well. So they're exposing that energy, and so it's not a black or white thing. And I try to, make the right decision according to my experience as a monk, as someone who's lived in community, as someone who's had a lot of experience with teachers who make decisions, teachers who've mastered the mind. Can we master the mind? Does that make sense? Tomatoes. I mean, everything is changing all the time. This isn't about comparing and contrasting anything, you know? You meet life to the degree that you are generous with life. You get back what you give. If you give a lot, you get back a lot. But what do you give? Do you just give thoughts? Do you just give opinions? Do you just give thinking about things? Then that's what you will get back a lot of, thinking about things. But if you learn to practice giving yourself, giving what's valuable to you, giving your life, giving your time, giving your energy, then that's what you can get back from the world. But our thoughts are not very valuable, right? Like the thoughts that we have most of the time, no offense, they're just not particularly valuable. In general, I would like to think less. And I already, spend a lot of time kind of not thinking. Because it's more peaceful. My heart is more relaxed and open when I'm not thinking about things, when I'm not telling a story about reality as it is in front of me. Does that make sense? And this is like a life lesson that I've learned a lot from. Like what you think, you have to detach from that. Prioritize awareness itself over thinking about things. All right, Luffy Gamer says, please help me, Bante. How do I deal with chronic shame and guilt or a shameful act I did to someone else, and now I see myself as a bad person forever, although I apologize to that person? You're nobody. You're not anyone. There aren't gremlins watching you in the corners. Your life is not a story. You try to say sorry, you forgive yourself, and you say, okay, I made a mistake. Join the club. What you just described there, join the club. That's life. That's our ancestors. That's our parents, our grandparents. That's ourselves. So drop ownership of this thing that you did and see it as a learning experience. Oh, don't do that. No matter what, don't do that. You see? So these big mistakes and the suffering that comes from that, it helps us. Even though it may leave a trauma in us, it helps give us guidance about what we should and shouldn't do, so we can be better human beings. But you're not going to be a very good human being if you can't see through appearances. To breathe and see through appearances. Not to see through one appearance to another appearance. Oh, this Rob guy appears as a good guy, but I see the bad guy behind him. Oh, this Rob guy appears to be a bad guy, but I see the good heart behind him, etc. In whatever way you want to do it. See through appearances. See through seeing. Seeing is see-through of itself. You know, what's that? What's that? We turn the mind around. We look at the mind itself. We experiencing itself. Okay, another 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 11th. We're going to get you there, 11th. Keep meditating. Follow closely. Another 5 minutes meditation. Well, routine helps us have meaning in our lives and gives us direction. There's nothing wrong with routine. But can you use that routine without being attached to the idea of you using it? So can you do your routine? Can you use your routine with mindfulness and detachment? And experiment with that. And then can you use no routine with mindfulness and detachment? Can you make use of having no routine? Can you be okay with that? This is an important question. Is that my nephew Noah? What's up, bud? This is an important question. This is a question that I'm pondering and I'm working with internally to share. How can I slowly implement Buddhism into daily life? Any specific way of meditation to practice? No. I mean, the most specific way of meditation to practice that I could give you, that this body and mind could give you, is come on over and let's go together. You know? So that's what I'm doing. But there's not actually a daily life. Scuba dooba wooba booba. There's not actually a daily life. Okay? I've cracked the Da Vinci Code. Anyone here ever read that book? When I was young, I read that book. I thought it was a genius. I thought I was going to be the next Donald Trump reading that book. There is no daily life. There's no yesterday and there is no tomorrow. Meditate on that. Meditate on the fact that there's no such thing as yesterday and there's no such thing as tomorrow. That is a sales tactic. That is an advertising scheme. That is the bullshit that clogged your toilet up and is now overflowing. Meditate on that. Where's yesterday? Imagine if I was going to sell you something and say you can only use it yesterday. Do it. Are we waking up? I'll give you all the one-on-one coaching you want. Okay? All the one-on-one coaching you want. What if I tried to sell you a phone and you could only use it yesterday? Or you could only use it tomorrow. Not today, tomorrow, only tomorrow. You have to be in tomorrow to use it. There's no yesterday and there's no tomorrow, and there never has been, there never will be. It is a scheme. It's a gimmick. This is not about rejecting making use of life and all the appearances of life. You can do whatever you want. I'm just letting you know there's no such thing as yesterday. There's no such thing as tomorrow. It is a phantasm. It is a ghost. It's a movie that you fell asleep to and woke up to and it was still on. Cat's out of the bag. Government, come and find me. I'm in Vietnam. Good luck, FBI. Good luck, CIA. I'm telling them the whole shebang. Well, you have to relax, Luffy. You have to relax. It's okay to feel suffering. It's okay to face suffering. It's okay to be here now without thinking. And it's okay for that to be uncomfortable. I mean, what about me? I was a monk for 7 years, man. I had purple robes, yellow robes, cotton made of cotton. I had I was running a monastery in the south of Italy. Look at me now. So, all right, declarative statements tend to be a big no-no. So 30 minutes meditation might clear that out. So listen. The point is that you have to learn how to let that stuff go within yourself. Whether you go to jail, whether you get killed, or worst of all, you die. Well, I hate to break it to you, everybody's going to die. And you have to be your own best friend. You, most of all, have to forgive yourself. Not in an ignorant, disassociated way where you just keep going and doing the same thing over and over again, but you need to forgive yourself in a way where you can face yourself. You can make a vow. You can recognize that you did something wrong and you vow to never do anything like that again. But you have to relax about the whole situation enough to show up and to shut that mouth and to be a strong boy and be good. Listen and focus. Okay? I'm here with you. If you go to jail, I'll come visit you. I'll send the spiritual energy, all right? You got to relax. Breathe. Okay, Zenny. Zenny has a question here. Exactly. Zenny says, is pursuing enlightenment also a part of the ego? I feel happier when I meditate and better overall in life, but I wonder if that could be egoistic to think I am happy and I should seek more. Hey man, if you want to eat out of the trash can, go ahead and do that. But nobody's going to give you any money for doing that. So what that means is try to live a good life. Don't overthink things. Practicing meditation isn't about thinking about things. So if you feel happier when you don't think about things, don't make that a justification for thinking more about things, to not think about things. That's just kind of a silly trap. If you want to meditate, meditate. If you want to stretch. If you feel depressed, get up and go for a walk. And see if that'll help. Listen to Dharma talks. You know, there's a lot of good things that you can do. I think a good walk can help your issues, Luffy. And listen to Dharma talks. And maybe a bit of a spanking on the butt will help get you into shape. All right, Kale says, I've spent most of my life working towards my career goals in science, but now I suffer because I would like to travel, see the world, and connect with others, but I feel confined with working full-time. It's okay. Save up some money, you go and travel and live your life. It's okay. You know, everybody here is going to die. Their body is literally going to dissolve. And very likely, before, during, it can't be after because you'll be dead, but, you know, you're going to experience a lot of pain, right? So there's tons of pain and death coming to everything that you attach to, physically and mentally. So the only gold standard answer is to be aware of what's here and now, because that's all that there is, and to be willing to detach. And if you want to live a really good life, to do that for others, to benefit others. So we don't just go and do something for ourselves, but we make use of what we already have to benefit others. Go out there and volunteer. Find a way to volunteer. Find a way to show up and listen without expectation and without obligation. To just be. Now. Not talking, not thinking, not building up a narrative of what's going on, but to just be here now. And my recommendation is to listen to your heart and to begin using your gut. You understand? Your intellect, your thinking, your commentary is just nonsense. Okay, beyond. You're getting me a little bit green here, beyond. You watch that mouth, beyond. You watch those emojis. You won't like me when I'm angry. You might know what that means. Okay? When I get angry, I get green, and you won't like me when I'm like that. We're not going to have any statements made about Buddhism like that. Bye-bye, sudden silence. Don't test me, Reggie. Don't test me. I originally became a Buddhist monk in 2018, and I originally contacted the Dharma or living full-time with meditation and Buddhism in 2014 when I went to live at a Zen Buddhist meditation center. They were suddenly silenced. Okay? And what Andrew's talking about here is very incorrect. Our emotions are usually just as valid as our quote-unquote intelligence. Because what we tend to be calling our intelligence is a constant stream of thinking that we're identified with. Because we don't know how to stop thinking, we don't know how to sharpen the intellect. So you need to learn the art of cutting. You need to learn the art of finishing. You need to learn the art of ending. You need to learn the art of being aware without biases, without prejudgments. You see? So it's like you could describe this not just mentally, not just figuratively, but someone could literally send the police to this place or come here and send the military to this place and and finish me up. They could practically express that this was that bad and that wrong, right? In the same way, someone could donate to me right now thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, set me up for the rest of my life, and support me and give me a platform to be whoever I want to be, right? Both of these things are completely possible. Someone could come and tear me down and push me down and harm me, and someone could come along and lift me up and praise me and bless me, whatever you want to call it, right? But the reality is, or it can just kind of stay like this, but the reality is, this is just the way that it is right now. There's no story to describe what this is. There's no story to describe the direct experience that's happening right now. You can make up a story, just like someone can do something very generous or do something very harmful to me right now. That's completely possible. But regardless if someone came in here and beat me up or make me the king of Morocco, this would still not be a story. So what I'm trying to convey to you is that reality, that your life, that my life, that this experience is not based in words and phrases. That fridges don't work because of words. That your heart doesn't beat and your gut doesn't operate according to your intellect. And the problem for most people these days is that they don't know how to use their heart. They don't know how to listen to their gut. The only thing that they know how to use is their complicated thinking mind. And this is a place where your complicated thinking mind is not going to be able to take root, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Reggie, I'm very, very happy you're here. I just want to give you a little bit of a time out, and that's my appreciation for you. Go ahead and spend 5 minutes just focusing on your breath and not leaving any comments and not doing anything like that, okay? There's no such thing as a brain. I don't have a brain. It's like saying there's a human body separate from Earth, or there's an Earth with human beings on it separate from the sun. Those things don't exist. They're just illusions. So it's like we've created a game, or we've created a dream that we now put ourselves in and say that, oh, this is separate from that, when this actually depends on that. This and that inter-are. Is eating or drinking attachment? I'm a little bit thirsty, so I might have been a little bit attached to that. But listen to this. And hey, let's not get all intellectual and Hare Krishna and philosophical in here. Let's get some W's in the chat. Let's get some likes, all right? Leave a like, share this video with your grandma in Michigan. Come on, everybody. Let's get involved. Let's support here. So, the question about attachment, okay? I can be holding this glass with attachment, right? And then if I drop the glass and it breaks, I freak out, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm confused. If I'm holding the glass without attachment and I drop it and it breaks, no problem. It's okay. So doing without attachment, so let's say we have to put this glass down because for whatever reason, maybe you don't want to carry it around with you. So to put it down with attachment is kind of like to throw the glass across the room and break it against the wall. Putting it down without attachment is just to set it down. Luffy Gamer, you have to concentrate, brother. Sit up straight. Focus on your breathing. Close your eyes and listen. This ain't a bar. I'm not drunk. I'm not Uncle Richie. You got to activate. Okay? This is more important than working a job and making money. Okay? This right here is more important than making a job and working for money. This is making an opportunity to make merit or to plant blessings. So you've got to concentrate. You've got to really focus to be able to connect with or receive what I'm saying here. Just shut up, Luffy, and focus on your breathing. Stop trying to understand what's happening. Stop trying to understand who I am. Stop trying to understand who you are. Stop trying to understand what I'm saying. Concentrate. Focus on your breathing. Listen and be aware. Listen to the mind without identifying with the mind. Listen to what I'm saying without identifying with what I'm saying. Don't try to be an entrepreneur. Don't try to be a spicy tamale. And instead of just wanting peace, be peace. Activate. Activate. No goal. Your goal is going to put you in prison. No goal gives you freedom from going anywhere or being anyone. Goallessness. You get to win every time. It's an easy goalie position. Goallessness. Okay? It's a dead end. I've researched the Akashic Records. I've researched the Monroe Institute, the Gateway tapes. It's all a dead end. If you can't find peace now, you're never going to find it. Nothing is more valuable in life than peace. People get very, very confused about the potentiality of dreaming and think that the possibility to dream all kinds of intense, crazy, wonderful things is somehow more valuable than being where you already are. And it's simply not. Okay? No story is better than this, because this is all that there is. I care a lot about children, so maybe one day I'll be in more of a position to support them. I hope so. That's the point, Luffy. No goal, no story. Just breathe and be aware, man. Experience the reality of the mind, Luffy. Your mind, your brain. You think your brain is programmed with words and phrases, monkey noises? Ooh, ah, ah, he, hello, he, she, goo, bad. You think the brain is programmed through that? No. It's an overlay. It's an additive. It's a nonsense machine. Detach from thoughts. Thoughts are bullshit. Your heart does not operate according to thoughts. Your central nervous system doesn't operate according to thoughts. Your seeing doesn't operate according to thoughts. Your hearing doesn't operate according to thoughts. The feeling of having a body doesn't operate according to thoughts. None of this operates really according to thoughts. So all of this identification with thinking is largely unnecessary and impractical to have a vivid experience of life as it is. And this is just like a push to give you some space. Thoughts are not ultimately there or not there, because thoughts are ultimately nothing. Thoughts are just as much nothing as colors or sounds or the feeling of your heart beating. Every thought is equally valid to the feeling of your heart beating, albeit more or less impractical. Okay? Why are you thinking about it, Luffy? Practice it. You need a good... if you were here, I'd hit you with my big wooden stick. Okay? I'd spank you on your butt. All right, Luffy? You shut that mouth, you shut that mind. You breathe like that. Okay, Andrew. See you in the Twilight Zone, bud. And Zenny, when you're here, don't indulge in that kind of stuff. We're here to step back. We're here to be aware. I'll take care of the naughty ones. Sadhguru, I think, is really great. As far as I know, I've thought about going and training with his community. But yeah, I think it's a good institution, a good group, as far as I know. Is having control an illusion? Well, it's an illusion to reality as is. To your sense of self or your sense of ego who possesses things and exists in a framework of time, then yeah, it's real. You can choose this or that. But in terms of there not being anyone there who's choosing, then there's no free will. But then there's no not free will either. So free will is just another meme, just another dualistic meme. All right, so we come back to humanness. For all the technology, right? Because that's how they justify this high-minded, arrogant, money, psychological, intellectual bullshit, right? They say, look at how nice our toilets are. Look at how much money we have. Look how much control we have, etc., right? But when you really get down and look at it, the institutions that exist today, how is our ocean faring out? How are the children really being treated? How is the American education system really? And actually, if you look to the Asian education system in especially like Taiwan and South Korea and China, I mean, children are pulling 12-hour shifts from 5 years old, from 10 years old, up to 18, up to 20 to pass these tests. Now, I'm not saying it's ultimately good or bad, but in America, I think it's pretty bad. Which is okay too. Just because something is bad doesn't mean we need to fight it. We just need to be able to discern that that's unskillful, according to our own wisdom. And then you engage with that or you don't. But you don't allow it to cause you more suffering. The head Zen master, I believe it's Zen Master Dei Bong, of Musang Sa, which is the home temple of the famous Korean Zen master Sung San. He said to me something like, If it gets too bad, just take care of it. And if you can, don't feed it. And if it's not there, then don't bring it up. Patience. We deal with things patiently. And then the stars align. That's real astrology. Because you have these points in your mind. Right? So what's this channel about? This channel is about real astrology. You have these points in your mind, your heart mind. Directions you want to go in, aspirations, ways of being, intentions, right? And your intentions can either be big or small. The more generous you are, the bigger your intentions can be. The more selfish you are, the more closed off your intentions can be. And so when you make quick decisions, you can kind of get yourself into a corner that it's difficult to get out of. But when you can step back and allow this state of just being open with everything as it already is to be there, then these deeper intentions can go, you will go in those ways naturally, and the world will help you go in those ways naturally. Okay? Celibacy is not necessary for someone unless they're becoming a monk, etc. And so unless you're becoming a monk, you don't even have to think about it. Yeah. There's nothing inherently wrong with masturbation. Masturbation's not evil. Sexuality isn't evil. Okay? Well, I'm here, aren't I? So, and patience is more important than time. That's another quote to put on the shirt when I start the Monk Life clothing company. Who's going to buy a beanie or a t-shirt? When I put on a beanie something like, don't think, just don't think. Or put on a shirt, um, free meditation with a rainbow. Wooden spoon beanie would be insane. It's a beanie that says wooden spoon on it. Or a beanie made of wooden spoons. That would definitely be insane. Okay. So Let's practice some meditation together. I'm going to turn off the comments. And this is where we separate the cream from the milk. So go away, milk. Go away, milk. This is time for the cream. So firstly, what I always do firstly is I find a comfortable position to meditate in. You know, I don't want to be uncomfortable when I meditate. So I sit cross-legged and put my hands on my knees. You can do that too. And I usually like to close my eyes. And in closing my eyes, I'm immediately confronted with kind of a lack of information. And so facing that lack of information, kind of like looking at a blank TV screen, instead of picking up the remote to find something to watch, I actually bring my attention inwardly to my breathing. Now, when we have some concentration, we can focus our attention on the breathing at the tip of the nose and kind of follow the sensations there. But when we basically have no concentration, which it's fine if that's what it's like for you, then actually just focus on the experience of breathing. So give your mind, your attention of your mind to the experience of you breathing. And as you start to tune into the breathing process, become more aware of your whole body sitting here. And you can kind of notice immediately that your body has nothing to do with intellectual thoughts. Your body doesn't have a name. Your body doesn't rely on thoughts to operate. Your body is basically free of thoughts, and you are immediately aware of it. You're experiencing it, a body that is free from thoughts. So instead of thinking up thoughts in the mind with this experience, give the mind's attention to the experience and the process of breathing. And bring the mind into the thoughtless body. Breathing in, knowing that you're breathing in, recognizing the thoughtless body. Breathing out, knowing that you're breathing out, recognizing the thoughtless body. Breathing out. Breathing in, you can repeat after me. Breathing in, I am aware that there are no thoughts in my body. Breathing in, I am aware that there are no thoughts in my body. Breathing out, I am aware that there are no thoughts in my body. Breathing out, I am aware that there are no thoughts in my body. Breathing in, no thoughts in the body. Breathing out, no thoughts in the body. Let the body relax into thoughtlessness. Just keep breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in, I take refuge in the thoughtless body. Breathing out, I take refuge in the thoughtless body. Breathing in, I recognize that I am not searching for anything. Breathing in, I recognize that I am not searching for anything. Breathing out, I recognize not searching. Breathing out, I recognize not searching. Breathing in, not searching. Breathing out for anything. Not searching for anything. Not searching for anything. Okay, friends, thank you for joining in this live session. I wish you well, happiness, and peace, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Please do take care of yourselves, and remember that meditation isn't about fixing yourself or fixing the world, but letting go of this big, complicated idea of yourself doing something, being someone, fixing something, and just beginning to appreciate the simplicity of this already being the way that it is, of your room just being the way that it already is, of your life, of your body, of your mind, of your heart, just being the way that it already is, and that that is a platform for our peaceful wakefulness, our peaceful recognition of no need to seek anymore. See you again soon.